proceed to shoot a roll.
Okay, so last time we talked, Carl, early '97. Tell me what's happened since then.
Well, quite a bit actually. I suppose the main thing is we've changed our lineup around a little bit, which seems to be a popular thing with this band since we formed a few years ago. But we've got a new guitarist by the name of Dave Soleil, and we've switched our horn section around a little bit. So there's a couple of new faces up on stage when you come see Stretford nowadays. And well, probably just as important as that, we finally recorded our second album, which I think we talked about a year and a half ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we recorded 12 brand new songs. We spent most of this year looking for a label smart enough to release it for us, and we got a deal. So there's a second Stretford album on its way.
What are some of the songs?
Some songs that anyone who's been to our shows in the last year or so will be familiar with. Radio, I think, is turning into a crowd favourite. Mr. Perfect, Vice, our latest and greatest set closer, and a few others that I think people will like. So,
what about? You already talked a little bit about the changes in the band.
Yeah.
Has that affected the music writing or maybe the direction musically at all?
Well, it's kind of interesting really, because a lot of the songs that are on this record we just recorded were actually songs that we were playing a year and a half and 2 years ago. We're still playing them because we never got them recorded due to a lot of things that were going on in personal lives of members of the band. So. As you may know, during most of 1996 we weren't gigging out very much, and we certainly weren't in a position to record any music. So the recording of these songs has come a little late, but obviously not too late because someone's releasing it for us. So I think for the most part, like I say, people who've been coming to see Stretford on a regular basis the last 12 months, they'll be hearing songs they're familiar with.
And did you say when that would be out?
Well, fingers crossed. You know, things can change overnight in this business, but hopefully it'll be out in August.
Okay.
Let's hope the first week, second week of August. So.
Maybe about the time I get this finished if we're lucky.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Have you played it all recently? Where have you been playing?
Not a whole lot actually. We spent most of the first part of this year, '98, just playing our little hearts out and recouping studio costs for this album we just recorded. Just got to a stage where I think it was to the point of overkill. So we're taking a much-earned break and giving our fans a much-earned break as well. So we played one show in the last 2 months. So that's about as frequently as we're playing. And we also figure when the CD comes out that we'll have to play a bit more just to remind people we're still there and we got a new album out. So we're taking a break before the storm, you know.
Do you have any plans to maybe tour outside of, well, either within the state or outside of the state?
Definitely so. If this thing comes out on schedule in August, we plan on maybe going up to the Pacific Northwest. If that doesn't pan out, definitely just going to the West Coast and running up and down California and playing some dates on the way back. So we'll be out on the road for at least a week, definitely.
And this will probably be later this year in '98?
Yeah, hopefully in August. So right on the heels of the release of the CD. So.
Cool. Let's see, some other things. Tell me what you see maybe in Austin music in general since we last talked. And how Stretford fits in there.
Well, Stretford fits in about as well as ever, to answer that question. I mean, I think we've always done our sound and stuck by it, and you know, we're perhaps less and less part of a scene outside of the Stretford scene, you know. And as far as the local Austin music scene goes, there's lots of great bands coming along, lots of great bands still around, and no one paying attention except the small crowd of ardent live music fans in Austin, you know. They haven't all turned into fastball, you know.
Well, do you think what about the crowds at your shows? Are they as big, bigger?
They're about the same.
Same people?
To be quite honest, Stretford's audience has probably not increased in the last couple of years. And I think that's had a lot to do with the fact that we haven't had a product out and we hadn't been very high profile up until this year. Hopefully getting a new record out, one that we're pretty proud of, will change that a little bit.
It seems like whenever new people do stumble into one of your shows, though, they generally like it. Isn't that the feedback?
We pick up an extra fan once every couple of months, and they seem to stick around. But our hardcore crew of Stretford insiders are they're at all the shows, and that's what makes it worth it, you know.
What's your favorite club to play at in Austin right now?
Well, I have a few for different reasons, but to be quite honest, right now, my favorite club in Austin is the one in Dallas or Houston or something. Like I say, we've been overplaying Austin, and it's time to start hitting the road a little bit.
May your attention, please. Austin passenger service paging Ben Guerra, Eddie
We've still got 5 minutes. My flight
Lauren
doesn't
Jones,
leave.
Jose Marin, and Shayna
We've got
Davis.
15 minutes. So.
Oh yeah, where are you
Austin
going?
way.
Where are you going?
Going home for a few weeks.
All right. You gonna play while you're there?
Well, actually, as it turns out, I'd planned a trip with Ken, our drummer, and Barry, our bass player, just so we could go drink beer in a different country. They managed to scrape up the money. I said I'd take them home to England and give them a tour. But I don't want to speak too soon, but there's an outside chance Dave and Cynthia might make it over. So yeah, maybe we'll tour England.
Maybe see some of your old mates. Making up, I'm sure, some of the most fabulous bands in England in today's.
Well, a few. You know, Ken was joking with me about this the other day, but I actually know one of the guys who used to be in the Stone Roses, and he's in this kind of indie band called the Seahorses now. So we might, you know, get to go see them and watch the indie English kids make fools of themselves. You know.
Cool.
I don't know, but we'll maybe talk again when I get back, if I decide to come back.
Cool. Okay, so Carl, tell me what's happened since the last time we talked. What's happened since the last time we talked in early '97?
Well, a couple of things really. The most important thing is we finally recorded our second album and scored a record deal. So there will be Stretford album number 2 on the racks in a month or two. And perhaps internally, I suppose the biggest news is we've changed our lineup a little bit. We've got a new guitarist, Dave Soleil, and our ever-changing horn section has a new member or two. Cynthia's still with us, so yeah, there's a few different faces on stage from, should we say, 6 months ago.
Carrie Covert, please meet a party in the main lobby. Carrie Covert, meet a party in the main lobby.
I don't think they're looking for me.
Okay. Tell us about the new record a little bit.
Well, it's been a long time in coming, you know. As you probably know, for most of 1996, I was not in Austin. The band were not playing very much, and I was distracted with family affairs. And so we basically had to postpone the recording of the record until I moved back to Austin last year. That was our first priority, you know, save our asses off, get some money together and go into the studio, which is what we did, and we finished the new record last December and spent the next 5 months looking for someone smart enough to put it out, and we have, so it's finally on its way.
Do you have a title for it?
Yeah, it's called Long Distance.
Okay. And how would you compare it to Crossing the Line?
Well, it's hard for me to say it's better than the first album because we were as excited about that first record as anyone else was. I mean, after years of playing around, we finally recorded 12 songs and got our debut LP out, and you know, it was an exciting time. But I think the main thing with Long Distance is musically it's a little bit more sophisticated. There's a lot more horns on there. I mean, for the people who like the horn section, they're going to get plenty of it. It's a better production. We spent more money in the studio, and I think it's a clean sounding record that we're all pretty damn excited about. So hopefully a few other people will be as well.
Any information about how many they're going to press, or will it be easy to find?
It'll definitely be easy to find in Austin and Texas because we've got someone here in Austin who's who runs the label. It's an Austin label, and we've also got his business partner in California. So I guess they'll be the two main areas that you'll see the record in the bin the week of release, you know, and they've got some distribution. So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to buy it anywhere, but we shall see. Definitely in Austin, you know.
So you've got some time before you have to actually knock Fastball out as the most popular Austin band. Right.
Well, you know, guess we've got to go through the phase of changing our name and slowing our sound down, really. And that's not a knock, you know, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, you know. Stretford were formed with kind of a vision of what kind of music we should make, and we've still got it. So it's a loud, fast rocking record, you know.
So for the kids that might be watching this, is the money really that great in being in a band in Austin?
God. Well, I don't know about those other bands, but for us it's just ridiculous, you know. I mean, I'm having to decide between, you know, a 2-room suite at the top of the Marriott downtown, or you know, a suite at the oh shit, I fucked this one. I was trying to remember the name of that old hotel on 6th.
The Driscoll.
The Driscoll, but anyway. Maybe
But life is good.
Question.
Okay, we'll start it over. So, for the kids that are watching, Carl, is the money really that great in being in an Austin band right now?
Well, I don't know about the rest of the bands, but you know, when the royalties started flooding in for Crossing the Line, I mean, there's a choice between living at a double-room suite at the Marriott downtown, or you know, the oldest room at the Driscoll. You know, the choice is ours.
I guess there's a lot of temptations involved with being kind of a rock star.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm kind of getting out of Austin for a few weeks, you know. Had a lot of harassing phone calls lately, and, you know, people and a couple of young ladies finding out my residence and kind of knocking on the door unannounced, you know, people I don't even know, so.
Some people would think that'd be pretty cool, but
well,
I guess when it's you.
I have enough problem with the girls that I do know, never mind the ones that I don't, so. Anyway, that's not important right now.
Let's see, how often have you been playing around town? Are you going to play some more?
Well, we're definitely going to play some more. The record will be out in less than 2 months. And,
Phil Scott, please pick up white courtesy phone immediately. Phil Scott, please pick up white courtesy phone.
I know Phil Scott. Fucker owes me money.
Jerry Saldivar. Jerry Saldivar.
Didn't he used to be in the band? Jerry?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
He played the flute or something, didn't he?
No, it was
Michael Slaughterback, please report to the
no response.
desk for message.
Okay, I think they're finished for a minute.
Okay.
Let's see, tell us about the future of Stretford.
Well, I suppose the immediate future is we've got a second record out. We're going to tour behind it. We're going to get it in the record bins in as many places as we can, and see how people like it, and just have fun playing the songs, you know.
And then how long does it take before you start thinking about another album?
Oh, that's a good question. Since most of the songs on this second album, Long Distance, are actually older songs that we just didn't have a chance to record at the time, I'd have to say that, you know, 3/4 of them are perhaps anywhere from a year to a year and a half old. So it's they've kind of been standards in our set for a while now. So there is a backlog of new songs that we haven't really had time to work up and get out into the live setting yet. So we've got songs. So I'd like to see us recorded maybe as soon as this coming spring. We'll see. We're certainly ready to.
Yeah.
So, but one thing at a time. Let's see how Long Distance does, you know.
Let's see, any other big news you want to fill us in on as far as the band goes, or even yourself?
Well, I guess my biggest news right now is I'm flying home for a couple of weeks. That's about as exciting as it gets. So I get to leave my part-time job behind and, you know, catch up with some friends and family, and actually Ken and Barry, drummer and bass player respectively, are coming over with me. They got a week off work, so we're gonna go drink in another country, you know. It'll be fun.
Cool. You could probably introduce them to some English young lasses.
Maybe so, you know.
Is that proper? Young lasses? I think I heard that on TV.
If you want to be correct, it'd be birds.
Birds?
Yeah.
The Dirty Birds, have you heard of them?
Well, we're going to see if we can find a few.
Well, there's a band of good-looking young women named the Dirty Birds from London.
Can't say I have, actually.
Yeah.
So, and that has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, we don't necessarily get asked to play with the latest wave of punk rock bands, and
that could be a good thing.
Well, I think it's blatantly obvious why. You know, I mean, there's a great, raging, sweaty, dirty punk rock scene in Austin, as there should be and is in every city in America. You know, but it's not really what we've ever been about. I think anyone who really understands our music will know why. You know. We're not necessarily playing with the Thrasher Armour crew every weekend, you know. Which, having said that, leaves us out on a limb, but that's fine, you know.
Well, there's still some bands around that were around when y'all were still young, the Chumps and bands like that you can fit
definitely.
into a bill with.
Yeah. And friends of ours too, and,
Yeah.
and we surely will. But I'm just thinking along the lines of, we plug away month after month and play to our little core of people who are diehard Stretford fans, and we don't necessarily cross over with the audience of some of the other scenes here in town, But I mean, it's like any scene in any town, there's some crossover into other scenes, and So I guess what I'm getting at is come see Stretford.
Well, I know when I talked to you the first time, you were, I guess, very hopeful that you would make a living from music. And in all seriousness, is that possible to do today?
Any musician in a working active band is hopeful, If you weren't hopeful, if you weren't sincere about the music you were making, and you weren't confident that other people would like it, then why bother, I mean, I could sit in my bedroom playing my own songs to myself for eternity, but the live experience is exciting, and recording music and getting out there and have other people listen to it is exciting as well, and I'm realistically hopeful,
But that's really why you do it, is more for the experience, rather than knowing you're going to make a lot of money off of it?
Yeah, I mean, it just comes back to basic realistic philosophy, If I wanted to make a lot of money out of it, I'd be learning, Radiohead and Spice Girls covers and playing at Maggie Mae's.
Could you do that? That would be awesome. Let's do that. Stretford doing all Spice Girls.
Well,
just for one night.
Depends how good the money was. We'll talk later, okay?
They're
Show me your contract.
they're looking for an extra member.
Yeah.
You could probably fit very nicely into that role.
Actually, I heard Jerry from the Bulimics got the job. He'd have the long hair and everything.
Very cool. Let's see, what else? Any departing wisdom?
Well, my departing wisdom would probably be about the same as ever. We've got a new record coming out called Long Distance. We think it's all right, and I'd encourage everyone to buy it, listen to it, and come to our shows.
Do you want to compare it as far as whether you like it as much or better than Crossing the Line, or is it just different?
Well, like I say, I can't like it in the respect that it's not our first record, and that was an exciting time. But the songs are newer, they're fresher, and it's a different thing, The vision I had with having a loud, fast sound with a full horn section, I think has finally, fallen together on this, because it's laced with horns, and I like the sound of it.
So you've actually gotten a little bit away from the Buzzcockish feel, maybe?
Yeah, which is kind of a comparison that was hung around our neck for many years, simply because everyone knew I'm a big fan of that band, And I think the more Stretford writes music, he wants our attention for a minute.
Okay. What they do is they say, here we go. So
yeah, I mean the Buzzcocks. Buzzcocks.
Hey, you could do like a bunch of remixes of Buzzcock songs and add horns. Why not?
Well, we might get sued by our.
Oh yeah, shit.
The record label, not the.
Forgot about that.
Close personal friends at the Central Tax Department, but like I was saying, that the Buzzcocks tag has been thrown at us and weighed heavily on our shoulders for many years, and I'm a fan of the band, and they had a lot to do with the inception of Stretford. But do we sound like the Buzzcocks? I don't think so. That's for other people to leave that to the experts. I mean, do we sound like the Buzzcocks? I don't think so.
Well, I don't know if you can compare Stretford to anybody, really.
It's flattering to be compared to a band like that.
Right.
I mean, they're a great band, but I mean, in the respect that the way we apply our philosophy to pop music is it should be played fast, loud, and catchy, and with a lot of energy, And I like that to stand out on our records, and I like to think that stands out during our live performances as well. You've seen a lot of them, so again, I'm not one to say.
Last
leave it
thing,
to the experts.
I guess the last thing would be, if somebody comes and sees the show, should they feel comfortable about maybe talking to y'all, or do y'all like to pretty much just disappear right after the set and not mess with the masses?
Well, absolutely not. I mean, you know, if I mean, that's a silly question. Come talk to us, you know. Yeah, anything you want to know, anything you want to buy.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if they have cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we take checks. So.
Really?
No, I mean, it's funny, really. I think, you know, with the exception of Ken, I don't think any of us seem too intimidating, you know. Ken will always joke about how after a show, no one ever comes near him, you know. It's basically because he spent the last hour and a half looking like he's tried to destroy his drum kit, and they think he might want to spend the next hour and a half destroying someone's face, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But other than Ken, I think we're all pretty approachable, you know.
Very cool.
Come and say hello.
Okay, Carl, I've asked everybody else during their interviews if they wanted to slam you, and generally they said no. I think they were scared you would kick them out of the band, but this is your chance if you want to just maybe impart some advice rather than just slamming.
Well, I don't really need to because I'm the boss. So
oh, okay.
They hear about it if it needs to be.
Behind closed doors, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, you know, I think I'm a pretty diplomatic fascist as far as band leader goes, so we have a pretty good understanding of how things work. You know, I have nothing bad to say about any members of this band. I mean, you know, without them, then Stretford wouldn't exist, and as long as they're happy playing with and contributing towards this band, I can't complain too much. So, you know.
How about any really good
people.
compliments? Like I know Ken talked about how impressed he was with Cynthia's musicianship.
Well, the nice thing about Stretford is basically I kind of don't consider myself a musician, you know, despite the fact that I play a bit of rhythm guitar. I mean, a musician is someone who, you know, reads notes off a stage. Isn't that what a musician is? And I just write pop songs, you know. So the nice thing about the group of people I play with in Stretford is that I have got some really talented players in the band, and it's nice to come up with a 3-chord pop song and hear, you know, Barry and Ken and Cynthia and everyone really add their thing to it, you know. Turn it into something maybe a bit more exciting than the 3-chord song I threw together, you know.
So talk a little bit about the 7-inch single that you have coming out soon.
Well, it's a song from the new album, Long Distance, and it's a song we've been closing our set with recently called Vice, which seems to be a real crowd pleaser. And that's going to be the A-side of our single. It'll actually be an EP, or I guess a maxi single if you want to be precise about it. It'll be a 3-song 7-inch. So, you know, every time someone mentions 7-inch nowadays, there's always a lot of people going, what's that, you know, but as we both know, a lot of people out there still buy 7-inch vinyl singles, and yeah, we're putting one out.
What else is going to be on it besides Vice?
A couple of surprises.
Oh, okay, don't want to give it away.
So yeah, it'll be out in about a month, and we're well overdue an album release, but as you know, it's coming out, but we're also well overdue a single release, so hopefully it'll be worth the wait.
What kind of a run do they do? How many copies do you think they'll make of it?
They're going to start with, we're actually going to start with 1,000 copies, which is a lot for a single, you know. Hopefully they'll be able to get rid of all of them. I don't know if there's that many people out there with turntables, you know, but we weren't going to argue with them, so that'll be plenty to send off to the radio stations and the press, and a few left over to sell, you know. So.
Do you think they have very good distribution, like it'll get to other states, that kind of thing?
Single's coming out on the same label as the full-length CD,
okay.
So it'll be going through the same distribution channel, so hopefully, yeah.
Cool.
So some of the distribution deals are firm and proven, and some are kind of still up in the air, so, you know. But sure, we'll get it anywhere we can, you know. Even if we have to take a flight and throw them out the window, you know. So.
Let's see, anything else? The last chance for a while, Carl.
I don't know. Come to our shows, have a good time, buy me a beer.
Oh, okay. What do you prefer?
I like Draft Newcastle Brown where they sell it, so.
English.
Yeah, but I'll take anything really.
Really?
Yeah. I'm stuck for work.
Even a Lone Star?
Oh sure, I'm not a snob, you know. It's a fine beer, especially at 3 in the morning. Yeah.
Okay.